Let's move on to the baby mama drama. We have Kashi Karemi, who is now talking about the relationship dynamic between her and her baby daddy, Khaligraph Jones. And she's telling us, you can actually remember, let me give you a quick, story about how it's going, yeah? So Kashi Karemi, we know her from Mikasa Sukasa. It's the song she did with Khaligraph Jones, where she debuted as an artist and as his girlfriend. And they were so in love, and we were all there, couple goals. Wow, look at you guys. You're both artists. You guys, they looked really cute together. They looked good for each other. And then, fast forward, Kashi gets pregnant. And she goes on an interview and says, this is not Calligraph's child. This is not his baby. Stop talking about me. So she was the first person to tell us this is not his son. And then, later on, she says, you have not been paying child support. Why are you not paying child support? And Calligraph goes on to say, but you said this is not my son. And Calligraph denied the child because he had been denied before, which is understandable. Now, fast forward to now today, Calligraph is going to court seeking custody for his son. A son he has allegedly not seen for 4 years. A son he does not take care of. Now, Kashi, in a radio interview, this is what she had to say. This is what Kashi had to say. Alinisumbua sana, mtoto ako almost 4 years, mtoto nimekaa na yeye 4 years, nimemlea. Kama kuna mama unaweza uliza kama anaweza peana mtoto wake, aseme ndio, sio rahisi. Ni kama ni by law, so be it, because law inaingilia haki ya mtoto, haingili kiki. Wow. So she's saying if it's the law that's going to give him custody of his child, well and good. But if he's doing all of this for clout, she is not here for it. And I do understand where Kashi is coming from. This is a man who has not been a part of this child's life, regardless of DNA results, regardless of him being proven to that this is his son. He was still not involved, or rather, we don't know who is saying the truth, Allegedly, he was not involved in this child's life. So for him to, turn around and now ask for custody of this child 4 years later, I would also not give you my child, If it comes to the court ruling and you get to have him a few days in a week, well and good. But if it was like out of court, you would never see this child. I know people are always saying, let him have a relationship with his father. But look at what has happened in the past. The past should also dictate the future. If he has been very inconsistent, what happened that all of a sudden he is now going to be a good father to this child? Did he get struck by a lightning of morality and all of a sudden he is now very involved in this child's life? You have not known what this child has been eating this 4 years. You have not known what this child is now going to preschool. You have not been involved. So why would I, as this child's mother, grant you access to this child? How do I know after a few years, if you get bored or if it was not clout enough, you're not going to disappoint this child? So I do understand where Kashi is coming from. However, we are online in-laws. We are here to comment. This is how you say after you're giving some advice. You're like, anyway, do whatever you're going to do though. I'm not that invested. What do you think about all of this?
Okay, let's start from the beginning. The two of them have been really petty when it comes to this child and the upkeep of this child and how this child is to be treated and how we see this child to begin with. Because let's not forget, it was still Kashi who was going off on Twitter claiming that, he's a deadbeat dad, he doesn't take care of his child and all of that. And it was still Khaligraph Jones who was still on social media claiming that he wanted DNA results, he wanted. So both of them have been petty, equally so, if not more, on the part of Kashi, because I understand she's bitter, she's angry. I gave you, this child is your child. You're equally a parent to this child and you're not owning up or fessing up to your parental responsibilities. So both of them have been petty. Let's not to make out one person to look like a good guy and the other one to look like a not so good guy. Now, moving into the conversation, it has now been determined that, first of all, this is your child, okay? Regardless of who said what when, we've decided, and it has been decided by DNA results, that this is your child, okay? Now, moving into the conversation where we say, I'm sadly going to bring up the same thing that we just said, that, oh, it's your child, it's your child. I feel like sometimes as parents, as adults, we become so invested in who is right over who is going to take care of this child and how this child is going to be taken care of going forward. And I feel like as responsible adults, not just responsible adults, but responsible parents, you're both invested in the well-being of your child. I don't think either one of you having custody of the child, full custody of this child, will make a difference for either one of you. I feel like you're both trying to do the same thing, just doing it in a very roundabout and long and hurtful way at the expense of the kid, right? You both want access to this child. You both want to see this child grow up into a responsible young boy, and you both want to see this child growing into the best version that you both can show, and your parenting skills and all of that stuff to be then accolades for you later on in life. I don't understand why you're making it out to look like, it's either one or none. I never understand that analogy. I never understand that perspective. Just give this child equal and fair shares of both of your parenting, right? In case one of you decides to get the child in full custody, please still be that responsible adult and try and give your child access to the other parent who they clearly would want to have in their lives. Children, it doesn't matter who, when, how, as long as they have parental love, they will ultimately become the best versions of themselves. And that is clearly and evidently been proven by many scientific papers, by many, I've never understood where parents are trying to stay away from the child or trying to take one child away from their parent. Try and co-parent if possible, and in the best scenario, if you get half and half custody where the kid is in one place at one point and another place at another point, don't try and backtalk or talk horribly about your other partner, because the child is going to grow up ingesting all of this dirty information, which ultimately is not good for them. You don't want your child to hate either of you guys. Just be good parents. That's it. That's all children want. A hug, a few kisses, and a few toys. Okay, so just do that for your kid.